Speaking out of Akron, Ohio, representing Team Popping the Boys, the headline god, Jeremy Lambert, and his co-host, speaking out of Atlanta, Georgia, representing more than one royal family, the king of indie viewing, Stephen Jensen. And this is the Spotlight on Fightful.
Welcome everyone to the Spotlight, and shout out as always to Big Dick MLJ for the intro. I'm Jeremy Lambert, that's Stephen Jensen, and it's been a busy week, as it always is. It feels like it's always a busy week in the world of wrestling. Jensen, there's no shortage of things to talk about when it comes to the world of professional wrestling. How are you, buddy?
That's very true. I'm good, Jeremy. Welcome everyone to the show. We're early again today, 8:30, so appreciate y'all, and appreciate everyone who watches the replays afterwards as well. Shout out to y'all. Yeah, there's a big week this week as people kind of trickle in. It'd probably be a good time to bring up excuse me, the biggest news of the week so far. So as I'm sure a lot of you know, the 4th of July is celebrated for a lot of reasons. The main one being that Joey Chestnut pounds hot dogs on the 4th of July. So that almost didn't happen. You know, I woke up nice and early on the 4th of July. I woke up, I watched the women's hot dog eating contest. Very respectable, seeing them do their thing every year. And that keeps getting a little bit better each year. There's somewhat of a women's revolution happening in the hot dog eating contest for the women currently, because their numbers are continuing to go up. Now, the men's competitions are about to roll around, and the weather gets terrible. And I'm sitting at home. You know, I'm USA'd out. I'm draped in red, white, and blue. I'm eating hot dogs on my living room. Me and my brother were waiting for this thing to start. I've got my shrine to Joey Chestnut, my autographs, my pictures. Like I'm ready for this. Like I wait pretty much all year for this. And I'm not one of those like fair weather fans that just tunes in on the 4th and talks about how cool Joey Chestnut is for a couple hours and bounces. I'm Joey Chestnut all year. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So
that's 100% true.
Yeah.
Can confirm.
Yeah. So I, and they start making reports about how the contest is canceled, and I'm sitting there at home and I'm just like, no way. I literally turned to my brother and I was like, the Vikings choked. Cody didn't finish the story. And now they're not even going to let Chestnut do the competition. Like, what the hell? I was like really, really bummed out, dude. I was really bummed out. And I was just sitting there and it felt like all hope was lost. And it wasn't, though, because Joey Chestnut knows, you can't cancel freedom on the 4th of July in the hot dog eating contest. And Joey Chestnut got out there. There was like a video of him hyping the crowd up, saying like, we're bringing everyone out, whether it's official or not, like we're eating hot dogs today. And that was, Joey Chestnut was already an American hero, but like that just cemented his legacy even more so as a true American hero, Joey Chestnut. And also big shout out to American hero Megabyte Ronnie, who's a friend of this show, just a friend of Fightful in general. And obviously y'all know him, from the world of independent professional wrestling. We interviewed him here on the show, and he made the competition yesterday as well. And he's a legitimate hero, like a legitimate Army veteran. Like he's the real deal. Like, so I want to give a shout out to Ronnie as well, Megabyte Ronnie. So I was really pulling for Ronnie, and I'm glad he just made it. Here's the thing, like, and I hate to even say this because I don't mean any disrespect to anyone who competes in these things, because they all know it too. You're just not going to beat Joey Chestnut. So it's like one of those things where it's like, if you just can make it to the competition, I think that's already a gigantic win, because you have to qualify a bunch to even make it to the 4th of July contest. And then, of course, you want to win, like, if you can. But, like, Joey Chestnut, dude, this dude had the back of America on his shoulders. He, like, the whole world was watching. There was nothing else going on the 4th unless you got some sort of life and you were out on a boat hanging out with friends or something. We were all...
That's me. Yeah, that was me.
Okay, anyway.
I know you're like going to bury people, but I was hanging out on a boat with friends on the 4th.
Okay, well, I'm really more so making fun of myself for not having plans aside from watching people eat hot dogs. But anyways, that's kind of the intro to today's show. I wanted to acknowledge Joey Chestnut, who has now won, I believe this is his 16th win. He's done it 19 times. I think he got a second and a third or a second and 2/3 maybe, like during the Kobayashi reign, but then ever since then, oh no, sorry, he got a second and a third I think during the Kobayashi reign. He got a second against Matt Stoney like maybe like 8-9 years ago. Matt Stoney randomly won one year, and anyways, congratulations to Joey Chestnut, a true American hero. Can't wait to see him again live in person. He's a great guy.
Shouldn't they be putting over new talent here, Jensen? Like, imagine if Roman Reigns had a 16-year reign. How upset you would be that Cody Rhodes just kept losing every single year to Roman Reigns, because it's like, oh no, Roman Reigns, he's the one. He's the tribal chief. And have him lose 16 years. Don't they got to get new talent involved here?
They have. There are new talents, and it's just no one can beat Chestnut. Like, I even think I saw Eater X in the crowd. If not, it was someone who was painted like him. You remember him, the dude used to do the Ultimate Warrior?
My buddy actually sent me a photo. He painted his face like Eater X. He was not there at the competition, but he did paint his face like Eater X. I'm gonna text him and see if I can show this photo right now.
Respect. Now here's the thing. Here's what the Major League Eating committee has not done, Jeremy. Because here's the thing, like, if it was Cody Rhodes in this position, I'd be kind of upset. I'd be like, damn.
No, you wouldn't. If Cody Rhodes had
no. If he was in this position that he's currently in with Roman, like, he's not the champion and he can't win the title. I'll say this. One thing that MLE and George Shea, the number one, I love you, MLJ, but it's George Shea, MLJ, Bruce Buffer. Those are the top three announcers in sports. George Shea in MLE, you know what they haven't done, Jeremy, and they're not going to do because they're not cowards? They're not going to create another world title because no one can beat Joey Chestnut. That's what they're not going to do. So if Chestnut keeps winning, he keeps winning. It is what it is. He's a champion for life, probably. I don't think anyone's going to ever beat this guy unless, like, something he has told me in person, because I've talked to him about his strategy and during our meetups, and he's told me, like, straight up, if he burps, like, the whole thing's thrown off. You know what I mean? Like, that's how like much it comes down to in these kind of competitions is like one. And then for them this year, they were even more thrown off because they're sitting around for like 2 extra hours. Like, cause they're like athletes where they're trying to peak at a certain time. So like they haven't eaten for X amount of hours or drank water or whatever for X amount of hours. And they're getting their body to like optimal eating and like competition level. And then they have to like do the adrenaline dump and wait 2 hours and then try to stuff their faces with hot dogs again after that. And they have to reheat the hot dogs. There was a lot to this, Jeremy. I had to reheat the hot dogs because Nathan's going to make people eat cold hot dogs up there. So there was a lot of layers to this thing getting done. But no, if Joey Chestnut keeps winning, he keeps winning. It is what it is. You know, no one else is going to be able to finish that story except for Joey Chestnut. The only chance Chestnut has, and George Shea has talked about this during his intros for Chestnut. If one day it may come down to like some sort of intergalactic eating competition where like there's multiple like planets at stake and they put like their best eaters up for the galaxy, our guy's going to be Joey Chestnut if it comes down to this. So, yes. You know, just got to support this man.
I think I could take Joey Chestnut.
In what?
Oreos. I'll beat him in Oreos.
Dude, he would eat an entire sleeve of Oreos before he finished one. You'd be sitting there chewing your Oreo, dunking it in milk, like really your jaw probably hurting, and you have the whole sleeves done. Did I lose Jeremy? Oh, sorry, I lost you for a second. You still there?
Yeah, my internet cut. Okay. You said he would eat an entire sleeve when?
Oh, no, I was saying by the time you finish chewing your first Oreo and swallowing it, he would already have a whole sleeve done.
I ate a whole sleeve in 3 minutes.
I mean, that's impressive to the average man. Like, I'm like,
that's with no training. I didn't train at all. You give me an actual training camp, I trounce Joey Chestnut.
and you're dunking it in the milk, right? And then eating, because like you were doing it off screen during. By the way, y'all are gonna see this out. We don't have an interview this week because everyone is busy for the 4th. If yeah, y'all will see this competition afterwards. The production that Jeremy put into the intro for this thing. If you've ever, y'all remember, there's an old South Park episode. It was was it Helen Keller the musical that they did?
Yeah.
And like Butters keeps running in like throughout the episode. He's like, "Y'all aren't gonna believe what the kindergartners got going on. Like they got explosions and fireworks and all, and then and turkeys that do stunts." And like that's like how I've been telling people about your intro for the orienting contest. I'm like, dude, y'all got to see this thing. The production Jerry put into this is incredible. There's what was
fireworks,
explosions.
Yeah. I had explosions. I had a tremendous voiceover that the voiceover person cost me a lot of money to pay. Like,
did you notice how like
lot.
your voice is going in and out of the intro also, because like the audio levels are like screwed up, so like you're hearing like a few of your words like in pockets kind of, and you hear whatever those Michael Bay explosions are like boom, boom, boom.
I've not watched it back. So, when I'm just talking and doing the voiceover, and doing the voiceover. It sounds relatively normal to me. But yeah, I can understand how with these little firework explosions on in the background, how it sounds a little bit weird.
It was good.
We'll air that at about 10 o'clock. Let's actually get into some wrestling.
Yeah, let's go.
Spent
cool
12 minutes talking about nothing here.
Chestnut. No, don't. That wasn't nothing. That was very important.
I know. I'm sorry. All right, here we go.
I need to finish the story. In the WWE, the story never finishes.
Mm-hmm. The story is moving forward, though, and that story being the story of the tribal chief Roman Reigns. The Bloodline Civil War at WWE Money in the Bank. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa teamed up against the Usos. And perhaps shockingly, Roman Reigns got pinned. Jey Uso pinned Roman Reigns in the main event. Stephen Jensen, Roman Reigns got pinned for the first time since December 2019 when he lost to Baron friggin' Corbin. What are we thinking? What's next for our tribal chief?
It's either so I was thinking that maybe Jimmy would get the pin. I was surprised that Roman actually got pinned, though. I mean, you had Solo there. We've seen Solo lose. Like, he lost to Cody. It's not like we haven't, he's been very protected, obviously, but like,
who didn't lose to Cody?
Roman.
Yeah, who pinned Roman Reigns?
Yeah, I remember that. Don't worry, Jeremy. We only have about 7 more months until next WrestleMania, and then he gets to finish the story.
Yeah, I'm sure.
When there's a whole other champion around and stuff.
Yeah.
But so I was thinking, like, going into this, I was figuring maybe Jimmy would get the pin for his team, only because, and we've talked about it before, I like the idea of like Jimmy getting the first title shot against Roman one-on-one, and then Jey getting the second one, because I feel like everyone thinks Jey has like a legitimate chance, and no one thinks Jimmy would actually do it, just based on the story. But I'm leaning more towards like maybe they do a triple threat. That'd be interesting if they do both the Usos versus Roman, like triple threat match with the title on the line. That's really interesting, because then Roman doesn't have to get pinned. Which imagine if like they did the almost like the finger poke of doom, which they're not gonna do. Which Jesus, if they did this. But after all this time, cool. But imagine that Roman gets they hit the 3D on Roman, or whatever, the one they call it the 1D on Roman, 1D, yeah. And then like he's like down in the ring, or like roll him out of the ring, and then Jimmy just lays down, lets Jey pin him 1, 2, 3. Roman loses the title after 1,000+ days. But you could at least have that as like you know what I mean? That would be a thought in people's minds going into it and that kind of stuff. So I think that's probably where they go with it. They probably do Roman versus both Usos. Although I'd prefer if they did Roman versus Jimmy and then Roman versus Jey in singles matches. But, and then there's also the wild card of Solo built into this story too, who like at some point may side with his brothers over Roman, especially if Roman keeps losing. So I like this though, here's the thing. Obviously I wanted Cody to win at WrestleMania. I everyone knows how I feel about that and how I still think that should have happened. But if anyone else was going to get that first pinfall on Roman after all this time, Jay was the one who made the most sense based on the story that they've been telling for over 3 years. So I will give them credit for that. Like if Roman was finally going to take a pin on this show, Jay is the right guy to get that pin. And so that's how I feel about it. It all makes sense. I'm just salty over the Cody stuff still, but like that's kind of like a non-factor at this moment because Cody's got other stuff going on. But he does sound like he wants to circle back to that. He said in the post-fight press conference, he was like, finishing the story isn't that title that Seth has. It's what Roman has. So, that will be the WrestleMania 40 main event. I'm pretty confident it's going to be Cody and Roman again. So, anyways, how do you feel about it, Jeremy? How do you feel about all this and Jay pinning Roman after all this time?
Shotdown Spurs leaves us a super chat. Guys, by the way, leave a super chat, get your question, comment, statement read on the air. It helps support us, helps support everything we do over here at Fightful. Shotdown Spurs says, Jay winning makes more narrative sense than Cody, but he's already got his pin, so there goes that dream. Yeah, this felt like Jay's moment. He got to be the first person to pin Roman during this reign, who's probably not going to win the title. It's tough to see Roman taking 2 L's like this. In the span of just 5 weeks when he hasn't taken a single L in the span of 3 years. So over 3 years at this point. A little over 3 years.
And then they have a trial this week, right? Where like Roman is the one that's like gonna be getting grilled. So we'll see how that all goes. Yeah.
As long as Sami Zayn's there dancing, just coming out with all his evidence against Roman. And I need him doing the hand clap with the Usos, need him doing all that stuff. Need the reunion with Sami and the Usos. Maybe a little like skeptical at first. Like, I don't know, guys. Like, I'm not quite sure about this. But then the Uso, like, they apologize to Sami. It's like, Sami, you were right, type of thing. And then Sami's like, all right, bring it in for the real thing. Bring it in for the real thing. I need Sami there at the trial. I'm looking forward to this trial segment, by the way. I think it's going to be great. Most of these segments have been really good with Roman, the Usos, and especially if you throw Sami in there.
Man, so maybe heading into next WrestleMania for like Cody versus Roman 2, Cody has like Cody's group that like he has Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and the Usos backing him going into this year. So now
he needs all this help against Roman Reigns.
Well, that's Roman needed all that help against him last year.
He needs all this help.
Roman Reigns did not beat Cody Rhodes. Solo Sikoa's stupid thumb beat Cody Rhodes last year. Cody had Roman dead to rights. Cody had Roman double crossroads ready for the trifecta for the title. No.
Did he win? He needs all this help to beat Roman. That's how you're going to take this victory, is Cody with Kevin and Sami and the Usos, maybe even Solo by that point. They finally beat
Roman. Boom.
Yeah. They finally beat Roman Reigns, and that's how you're going to feel proud that Cody Rhodes has won the world title, the WWE title, to finish the story.
No, I'd rather him just straight up do it himself. He does the work, Jeremy. He makes sure everyone else knows how to do the work. It's a big part of this.
He didn't do his homework for WrestleMania. He did plenty 39. Of homework.
He couldn't predict what happened where Sami and Kevin couldn't be there. This is a big factor.
Kevin and Sami were there. They took out the Usos when they came in, and then Solo came back out.
I thought they weren't there.
No, they were there. Kevin and Sami had the brawl with the Usos in the middle of that match.
In the middle of the main event of WrestleMania?
Yeah. Wow, this memory is so bad for you. You just blocked out all the specific. All you can see at night is Solo Sikoa's thumb. You see nothing else and maybe the rubber chicken. That's all you can see from this show. You can't see what actually happened in the match.
I see the entrance. I see him getting out of the bus with Liberty and Brandy first, getting out of the bus on the pre-show. I see the entrance where I am convinced this is the time is it's now, it's happening. Most of the match is a blur. And then there's like the final sequence where it's like Cody hits like the drop down onto his back, the punch up kind of Goldust style thing he does. He hits the bionic elbow. He hits the one crossroads, the two crossroads, and then Paul Heyman's up on the ring apron. And I'm like, wait, no, what's going on? And then Solo does the thumb, and that's yes. Then the rubber chicken, yeah, nice, yeah, that was there too. But yeah. Anyways, Yeah, I guess. What do we think about? Is there anything else to talk about with this Roman Reigns and Jey Uso stuff? Because I mean, it's good for Jey. Like I mean, like we've all said, it in story it makes the most sense that Jey would be the first person to pin Roman. So I can't be mad about that. Oh my god, really?
I was gonna throw that up there every time you bring up Cody Rhodes unprompted from now on.
Unprompted? That's very tied into this. You might have brought him up before I did. I don't know. I don't remember.
I probably did just to make fun of him losing.
I can't believe I ever thought that Sammy and Kevin weren't a part.
They were part of this.
When did Jay Briscoe pass? What did they miss? They missed the big
Jay Briscoe. Jay Briscoe was January.
That was the Rumble.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, but as I remember, didn't they miss the big WWE show that had to do with this?
They main evented night 1 of WrestleMania.
No, I know that, but like, what wasn't his? Why am I getting this screwed up in my head? Okay,
I have no idea.
Sorry, I could have sworn that Jay and that Kevin and Sammy missed some sort of WWE event because of the funeral or something. I'm sorry, I'm getting my timeline screwed up on that. Then that's something in my that I don't know why I'm thinking that. Anyways, we can move on.
I think they do Jay and Roman at SummerSlam. I think they should do a triple threat, but I think it's just going to be Jay and Roman, and then they'll move on to Jimmy and Roman because Jimmy and Roman haven't had a singles match yet. So I think they do Jimmy and Roman after they do Jay and Roman, and maybe they circle around to the triple threat because I do think there's a story to tell with the triple threat. But if you already have Roman pinning Jay and then pinning Jimmy, like does the triple threat make much sense after that? That's why I think the triple threat almost makes sense first. And then like I think Roman can kind of bait them into this of, hey, Jay pinned me. Like, you cool with that? You cool with letting that happen? Like he's gonna get all the glory now when you've been the big dog, and he was the right hand man. You said you were nobody's bitch. Like, you just gonna let him have that? I think he can like manipulate his way into a triple threat match, and then I don't know if you could do stack them, smash them, because if he pins both of them at the same time, then doing a singles match with them doesn't make a whole lot of sense off of that either. But I think they're going to try to stretch this out as much as possible to do 2 singles and a triple threat. How they get there, they can go different ways, but it's got to, the result of these matches are going to have to play out to where they can get there to where it's like, oh yeah, this is a foregone conclusion of who's going to win. And I think we all know Roman's going to win, but it's for foregone conclusion of like, why does this matter if you've already beaten these guys in this manner?
Yeah, when they tried doing the stack them, pin them thing in the main event good. Too. Yeah, dude, I thought they had him after the I do like that. Oh, hold on. This is about the Bonkers LC. The ref ejected Solo, and then Kevin and Sammy came out to help Cody, but Solo with the mask off around his face came out. Yeah, that's right. You're right. Sorry about that, y'all. I was getting my timeline screwed up. That was the end of January. I was thinking I was getting something messed up with the timeline there.
What you were thinking there, Jensen?
I was having this conversation with somebody the other day, like literally about the Cody main event, and we brought it. Anyway. I'm getting multiple conversations like all mixed up in my head as I'm talking to you about this. Anyways, I liked the finisher that Solo and Roman do, by the way. I like that, like the spike and the spear at the same time. Like I was really surprised that anyone like kicked out of that. Like I figured that would be like kind of like the ultimate finish because like no one could kick out of that. But yeah, I think you're right though. I think they do a triple threat. What do you think? Maybe like Roman pins Jimmy and then like Jay gets a solo shot or something maybe later. I feel like you got to do Jay and Solo, or sorry, Jay and Roman at one-on-one at some point. I feel like
yeah. And it looks like that might be the direction for SummerSlam, which makes sense coming off Jay's victory and everything. I just think Roman's going to try to pit them against each other one way or another.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then once again, the wild card here is Solo, because eventually he'll probably side with the Usos. So
you would think Solo. I think a wild card is also Heyman. Like, where does Heyman kind of go after this? Like, does he start losing faith in Roman Reigns? I don't know if he's going to go with the Usos, but certainly Solo is there, and he's been eyeing Solo. He's been by Solo's side this entire time. Maybe he sees Solo as his next big meal ticket, and that's where he decides to go, and he can elevate Solo in that manner.
Maybe, yeah. It depends on how much I don't say like faith, but like how much what they see in Solo long term. Because he's still kind of green to a degree, but like that's not necessarily a bad thing. He just knew. But like he's got a great look. He I was watching him in NXT Level Up before he got like the call up, like so I've seen like really a lot, his whole kind of progression in the WWE system, and there's always a lot of potential there. There's a lot of Umaga in what he's doing, which like I know is designed, and which I like too. Like Umaga there was a lot more WWE could have done with Umaga. He had a short run, and unfortunately he passed away young as well. But like, there's a lot of stuff that he does that, with the thumb and like the splash and kind of the mannerisms and stuff that are very Umaga-esque, but he does them really well. And it's more of like a tribute, than like a ripoff type of thing, which I like also. So yeah, maybe there are big plans for Solo to be a big single star. Which is good. Like, hopefully they have some people like that in mind at the very least, whether it pans out like that or not. Like, I'm glad that there might be some people kind of in that pipeline, the WWE, where they're thinking like, okay, we have some people we might actually push as big stars here. Like, because they're going to need them. Roman's not going to be around forever. He's already not around that often. So like, and Cody's already almost 40. So like, you got to figure out some new stars here.
I mean, Solo he's not old, but I think he's older than people. He's 30. That's not
30.
Old.
That's not bad. He's
I need a little bit more. I need a little bit more like explosiveness out of Solo. Yeah, and his in-ring work. Like he's good, but I just need a little bit more explosiveness out of his in-ring work. That's all I'm asking from him.
And yeah, like we both said, he's newer. He's still getting everything kind of figured out, and he's put in a really big spot immediately. Yeah. Like he went from, like I said, he was just a regular guy in NXT Level Up. Like he wasn't like some world beater. He was just like a guy who was just learning on the show, just like everybody else. And then the next thing you know, he's showing up at was it the Drew McIntyre match? He debuted?
Yeah.
So he's immediately thrown right into that. Most people in the WWE universe didn't even know he existed. Probably they're like, wait, there's another Uso? Like what? Unless you were one of the 10 people watching Level Up like me, you probably didn't know. So he's put in a huge spot immediately, and I think given the circumstances, he's done really, really well. Like, a lot of people in his position would have probably botched something big or come off goofy or something, but like he's held his own in this story and in the ring and everything, what they needed him to do, in my opinion. So, and he had a really big moment. Once I know, circle everything back to Cody, but the week heading into Cody versus Roman, like that's a big spot to be in, being Solo. Like you have that kind of like that go home match for the main eventer, and he held his own. He made Cody look good in that one, and so did Solo. So there is a lot to be said about how well Solo has done on the roster since he debuted.
My WWE spotlight, Jensen, kind of ties into Cody, because this man wrestled Cody at Money in the Bank in probably the worst match of the night, which I blame Cody for.
Yeah, it's definitely Cody's fault. Yeah.
Dirty Dominik Mysterio. Of all the things I could talk about when it comes to WWE this week, they had a big Money in the Bank show. They had a fine episode of Raw. There was the Logan Paul Ricochet spot. We have 2 new Money in the Bank winners. We have LA Knight, who got the biggest reaction in London. All these things. Drew McIntyre returned. All these things I could.
LA Knight didn't win though, did he?
I mean, neither did
Anyways.
Paul.
Yeah, I'll take Dom or Dom. Jeez, Dom's cool though. We're gonna talk about that. I'll take Damian Priest though. I'm not too upset about that.
LA Knight still got the biggest reaction out of everyone.
That's true. Listen, I watched the show with my brother, who he really doesn't see hardly any WWE, because like I really only watch the PLEs. So like if he's here for a PL, now he watches like a lot of indies with me. He watches a lot of AEW with me. Really not a lot of WWE. So like he watched Money in the Bank with me. And I'll be on it. I'll be totally transparent. Like, he was like, yo, what's up with this guy? Like, dude, listen to these people.
Did you
when I was
bury him?
Yeah, I mean, of course. Listen, there were people on Twitter, okay, heading into Money in the Bank. I have to this point needs to be made. I saw tweets with literally thousands of like likes and retweets going into the show. Someone clipped LA Knight's promo on Logan Paul. I guess it was on SmackDown heading into, and the caption was like, it was like all caps, LA Knight cooks Logan Paul again. And I watched I watched the video. This is pretty much verbatim the promo where he's cooking. Okay, I just need to make this point clear once again. Guys out here saying a whole bunch of nothing very enthusiastically. He came out and said, Logan Paul, you have a lot of followers on social media. You got a ton of followers. You got a ton of subscribers. You're huge on the internet. You're super famous. But now you're in LA Knight's ring with everybody saying, LA Knight, yeah. That was the promo. All he did was point out, yeah, Logan Paul's got a lot of followers and now he's in a wrestling ring. That's not cooking anybody. That's not saying anything.
He threw that man right on the grill. You may have overcooked him, honestly.
You may have overcooked him. Oh my God, dude. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. This guy came out and said was Logan Paul's way more famous than I am, and now you're in a wrestling ring with everybody saying LA Knight, yeah. How is that cooking?
I just imagine you with your brother, who you just admitted only watches the WWE premium live events, doesn't watch like the weekly stuff.
Right.
And that LA Knight hits, the crowd roars, giant reaction, biggest reaction of the entire weekend. And then what happens is your brother's like, oh man, this guy's super over. Like he's really popular. And here's Stephen Jensen just stewing that LA Knight's just getting this big reaction. He's like, yeah, the crowd likes him for some reason, but he's really not that good. He's not good in the ring. He's not good on the mic. He's honestly not that great of a wrestler. He's not good, but for some reason the crowd likes him. Honestly, all the crowd, all these thousands of people, these 20,000 people in the arena are just idiots for liking him.
No,
they're just dumb for liking him. You're trying to bury this man who got the biggest reaction of the weekend to your brother so you can turn your brother against LA Knight. Yeah.
I think it's really low-hanging fruit, like I've said before. I think that the WWE audience, especially because it's made up of so many children, is so used to just the average mediocrity of everything. And then anybody comes around that does anything a little out of the ordinary, that gives you any kind of taste of the Attitude Era, like which is what he's doing.
These are kids. You just said it's kids.
No, sorry.
These kids don't know the Attitude Era.
I need to specify because there are adults who like him as well. Like there's a lot of adults who like him. Okay. That's who I'm referring to when it comes to the Attitude Era reference. There's a lot of kids who it's really easy because they're just they hear the music, they cheer with everybody else, they like the and like it's just, and he sounds really over the top. And then you have the adults who it's like this taste of like, this guy kind of talks like The Rock and Steve Austin. Like I miss when wrestlers talked like this and looked like this. It's like, okay, listen, it's all fair. Y'all can like whoever you want to like. And I'll be completely honest. I feel bad when I read interviews that he does because I don't really watch them. But like I've read transcripted interviews that he's done recently, quite a few of them, where he's actually saying a lot of the stuff where he's like, yeah, there's a lot of fans out there that like, they like say I'm not that good in the ring, but like either with Steve Austin or like Hulk Hogan. And like, I know people say I sound like The Rock, but I've always sounded like this. And I'm just, it's kind of a compliment to be. And it's like, dude, this guy, Eli Drake, whatever his real name is, this guy seems like he's probably a great dude. I just don't understand how he's gotten so over on the show, being like a mediocre wrestler and like a guy not saying anything on the microphone, but people, it's working. Okay. One thing he needs to do this. You want to know how to get over with me? You can do one thing and I'll change I'll 180 completely on LA Knight. I'll completely 180 on LA Knight. You're going to call yourself LA Knight, start wearing LA lights. Okay. Like get the LA gear, LA lights. His shoes should light up while he's walking. If you start wearing those, like we had back in the 90s, I'll start liking LA. Well, I'll probably accidentally call them LA lights over and over again, but Wear LA lights, and I'll like you, LA Knight. That's the one thing you do to get over with me.
Do you hear that, LA Knight? Don't worry about the millions and millions of people you're getting over with.
No,
you just need to somehow get over. Yes, millions. 100% millions. You just need to somehow get over with Stephen Jensen.
Cyclops is better than Wolverine. This is true. Just be nice to Jensen. That's how you get over with him. We've established that.
LA Knight would probably be very friendly to you. You just said he's
I'd
like
be
a nice
very
guy.
friendly to him. Dude, I'd be very friendly to CM Punk. I address my enemies. I'd be friendly to them in person. Like, because all I'm doing here is giving my opinion on pro wrestling. Like, it's just a stupid opinion on wrestling. Like, everyone, and the funny thing is for whatever reason with this one dude, I seem to just, I disagree with everybody else for whatever reason. But I'm the odd man out. Listen, and I can keep it real. A lot of the time when people think that everyone else is the problem, they're actually the problem. So like something's up with me maybe where I just don't get it. But at the same time, we both established like neither of us got the Mr. Kennedy stuff, and a lot of people were into that. I'm not into the Bray Wyatt stuff, either are you. A lot of people were into that.
I love Bray Wyatt. Don't tell it. Don't say that.
Oh. Well, we disagree there as well. We've definitely talked about Bray Wyatt plenty on this show, and I was under the impression that I know you like the dumbness of it. Okay, whatever. But like anyway, listen, congratulations, LA Knight. In all honesty and all sincerity, like I'm happy that this guy that he's somehow accomplished this. Like it is super impressive to me that he's gotten over like this, and hopefully WWE capitalizes on it. Like he's getting reactions. You can't deny it. So, hopefully they figure out.
You're that dude who they would get this reaction. They get it organically. You're basically Vince. I apologize for saying that to you. That might be the meanest thing I've ever said.
No, I know where you're going with this.
But it get organically. It's like, you know what? I don't like him, so I ain't pushing him. Don't care about these reactions. I ain't pushing him because I just don't get it. I don't get how he is this over.
Yeah. No, yeah, I could definitely see that happening for sure. Or he says like he's already organically over, so we're gonna spend our time trying to get over someone I want to get over. Yeah, they won't invest any more into it.
Dumb. This guy is over. Just go with it. You are the problem in this instance, Jensen. Hi, it's you. You're the problem. Wow. It's you.
Okay.
LA Moving on. Over, brother.
All right, listen. Fair enough. Good for you. Good for LA Knight.
Dirty Dom Mysterio.
Oh wait, why is this even? This follow was dumb. We're gonna even have time to talk about everything today. Listen,
there's really nothing to talk about with Dom Mysterio. I just think it's hilarious that like much like Seth freaking Rollins, like, hey, let's just give this guy a nickname, and we're gonna beat you over the head with this nickname. Like it's part of this man's name now. It's just part of his name. He is now Seth freaking. They put the freaking in everything. Rollins, and now Dirty Dom, the dirty, will always be there. Why is he dirty? I don't know. I have no idea why they're calling him Dirty Dom Mysterio. Maybe Rhea Ripley can answer this question for us, but he's Dirty Dom Mysterio, and get ready to hear that name 300 million times on every single episode of Raw.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny that they're leaning so much into it's working though. And here's the thing, I'm behind this. Like, I'm with it on the Dom stuff. You know what I mean? Money Mark said Kevin Nash is on your side. Are you referring to the LA Knight stuff? Is Kevin Nash also ripping LA Knight?
Yeah, Kevin Nash. I mean,
okay. It's just me, huh? No, not one of the goats, Kevin Nash. Hey, listen, you want to talk about someone who wasn't that great in the ring, but was over as hell and one of my favorite wrestlers? I got the guy who got like 4 of his autographs, Kevin Nash. I love Kevin Nash. So you can get over with me being not great in the ring. Kevin Nash was cool. There was a big difference. So Kevin Nash agrees with me. That's interesting, huh? Y'all going to say Kevin Nash doesn't know what he's talking about?
Yes, I will say Kevin Nash.
Oh, get out of here. Kevin Nash changed the game. If it wasn't for Kevin Nash, people would still be on these BS non-guaranteed contracts. Probably not anymore, obviously. But like him and Scott Hall changed the game, man. Like, obviously, Hulk Hogan was doing his own thing and, getting his own deals. But, like, yeah, Anyway, that feels good to know that, guys. Thank you for Kevin Nash. Let's go.
Okay.
I mean, maybe that's why Kevin Nash follows me on Twitter. That's got to be it. If I so I'm gonna DM Kevin Nash. I'm gonna be like, yo, Kev, yo, big sexy. Can you give me just a quick statement on your thoughts on LA Knight? Because like you're the only one who seems to agree with me in this entire world, and maybe me and Big Kev can bond over this.
I love Kevin Nash. All right, can we get Kevin Nash on the show? DM Kevin Nash and tell him to come on this show.
Let me try to get, dude. I
would love to have Kevin Nash on the show. Are you kidding me? He doesn't
ever do that kind of stuff. I know he does a show with Sean Oliver now. Like they have like their like weekly show. Click this, but I don't know if he does like interviews really anymore.
Well, it can't hurt to ask.
Okay, I'll ask him. I'll put it out there on the spotlight right here for everyone to see.
Send Nash a DM and see if we can't get him on the show. I have a very important question I need to ask Kevin Nash that I've been waiting to ask him for years. So I need Kevin Nash on this show so I can ask him this question. Here's what Kevin Nash said. And I'm going to, before you jump in with your and agreeing Kevin Nash is the best. See, Kevin Nash agrees with me. I'm going to add context after I read his statement of what he said. So he said about LA Knight, am I the only one that sees an absolute ripoff of The Rock to the point where he cut the promo on fucking Logan Paul or whatever the fuck his name is? He doesn't know Logan Paul's name. He said, yes, stick it. And the only thing he didn't do was turn that motherfucker sideways. What does everybody have? Amnesia? There's nothing original. Oh man, his promos. Finally, LA Knight has come back as a white guy. If you don't put that money in the bank in Paul's hands so you can the rest of the year say, oh, fuck yeah, but the wild card is, will Logan Paul be there? If you don't get some mileage out of that, then Uncle. He wanted Logan Paul to win Money in the Bank too, I guess. I don't know this guy, LA Knight. I don't know him, but I'll tell you one thing. I got a text message from him. I'm just going to read what it says. Hey, Nash, I know you don't know me. I've got an idea of this character. He's called the Scorpion King. What do you think? This is bullshit, okay? Rock was the Scorpion King. Then he said he's in talks with Disney. I don't know what the fuck's going on. If you think Kevin Nash is being serious with this take and actually knows what's happening with LA Knight and Logan Paul and the world of WWE, I got news for you. Kevin Nash was shown one LA Knight promo and like everybody else came to the conclusion, yeah, he kind of sounds like The Rock in Austin. And then he decided, I'm going to turn this into a big old bit. And then it got headlines and attention because that's what happens in the world of wrestling. Kevin Nash has the same opinion that most people have when it comes to LA Knight, myself included. Do I think he's like Rock and Austin adjacent? Yes. Do I think he takes a lot from them? Yes. He admits he takes a lot from them. Still gets over. How many people have taken from wrestlers in the past? How many people have tried to take from The Rock and Austin? And how many people have actually made it work? Very few. None of them. Certainly none to the level of LA Knight in a very long time. So that's all that has happened with Kevin Nash. I'm 99% sure LA Knight did not send Kevin Nash a text message saying, I've got an idea for a character. He's called the Scorpion King. Listen to what Nash said. Understand Nash's sense of humor. Understand that Nash very rarely watches the product nowadays and is just shown clips and reacts to it. And he's Kevin Nash and he's hilarious in how he speaks and the opinions that he gives. And that's all he is doing. Sure.
Yeah. So first of all, yeah, we know that like there's no way LA Knight has Kevin Nash's number. Like, let's be real. So like there's no way he texted him that. But Kevin, I agree with everything Kevin Nash said actually. Like that was a really, really good take that he had. I've already got 4 of his autographs, I think. Like maybe I can get him, like maybe we can frame that quote and have him sign it and I can like put it in my background over here. That was right on the money. Everything he said was spot on. I don't think he was joking about that at all. Anyways, Dirty Dom. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all you can really say about Dirty Dom. He's the most pure heel in the company, which is crazy. That's true. Like Roman's the man. We all get that, but like Roman's also got a cool factor to him still. You know, like Dom's just getting straight. And there's a tongue-in-cheek thing there too, kind of with like when before people knew that Hook could wrestle. You know, when everyone was just kind of tongue-in-cheek, like send Hook. You know. That's kind of the vibe you get from Dom is like everyone knows he's not a badass, but like on the show, even Rhea and Damian, they like talk to him like he's a badass. Like they're not joking to him when they're like, you know what I mean? Like it's this weird tongue-in-cheek thing that's working really well. He's getting booed out of he can't get a word out. You can't even hear his promos. You got to yell his promos because she's getting booed so bad. So that's where that's a case of it working and me being down. Like I'm cool with what's going on with Dom.
Doesn't it say something that Dominik Mysterio, dirty Dominik Mysterio, the biggest heel in the company, was put in a feud with Cody Rhodes, and LA Knight got a bigger babyface reaction than Cody Rhodes?
Did he?
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Whoa! That's louder than
I'm old and I'm fucking tired, and I work with fucking children. I'm tired of wrestling these kids that think they know everything.
Okay, let's go ahead. AEW spotlights.
AEW spotlight, Stephen Jensen. Like, you should be thrilled with this. I understand it's your old pal CM Punk, but we get Punk versus Joe on Collision this Saturday, running it back decades in the making. CM Punk, Samoa Joe as part of the Owen Hart tournament. It's a semifinal match. Admit it, you're a little bit excited for Punk versus Joe on Saturday.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see. I mean, CM Punk's never beat Joe. They wrestled probably like 5-6 times. Like in Ring of Honor, there was the 3 big matches. That was the was 2 time limit draws, and then Joe won the 3rd, if I remember correctly. And then there was matches outside of that they had outside of Ring of Honor as well. But I don't think CM Punk's legitimately ever beaten him. Maybe in a tag match.
They wrestled in a singles match. Punk has never won. They had for the world title, the famous trilogy is the 2 time limit draws, and then Joe winning. They did have a match before that, not for a world title. Before Joe was champion and everything. That
in Ring
Joe
of Honor
won. Yeah, in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
And then they had a match in PWG and FWA, and Joe won both of those. So in singles matches, Joe or Punk has never defeated Joe.
Yeah. So I think he wins in this one, though. I think Punk's going to beat Joe in this tournament. Now, I will say a little confusion here, and I'm sure there's a method to the madness. Like I love Tony Khan. I trust Tony. I trust the people around Tony. Like I love AEW's product. But it's confusing, right? Like that this wouldn't be the finals, or they wouldn't have like designed this to be the finals, Punk versus Joe. But
they're setting up Ricky. I'm fairly certain they're setting up Ricky. You think
Ricky's win the whole thing?
I don't know if Ricky's win the whole thing, but I think we're getting Ricky Punk in the finals.
Right. I just feel like if Punk was going to win this whole thing, you would have him beat Joe in the finals. You know what I mean? I just feel like that makes the most sense. Like he gets his big win that the guy he's never beat with all this, 20-year history, and you can do that in the finals if Punk's going to win the whole thing. So it leads me to believe that Ricky will probably win the whole thing if this isn't the finals.
I hope so. Yeah. I hope Ricky wins the whole thing. I think Punk turns on Ricky out of all of this, because I think they need to have a big baby face for Collision. And I mean, right now it's kind of CM Punk. Like CM Punk's the face of the show, let's be honest. But he's going to get booed in most towns that he goes to that isn't Chicago. So they need an actual top, like pure baby face in this. And you have CM Punk turning on Ricky. That fully establishes Ricky as the baby face of the show.
Yeah. I think that's all very possible. That's probably the way to go also. But as far as like Punk and Joe goes, I mean, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be really good. That's this Saturday on Collision, right? So
yeah,
that'll be I mean, Collision's been a much-watched show, by the way. Like I think it's right there on par with Dynamite, if not even better in some ways. Like I think that I think it's going to be a spectacle. I'd imagine they'll give them a lot of time. Like it'll probably be, I don't know if they'll go an hour, but they'll probably go at least a half hour.
The main events for Collision have been going relatively long. I mean, Joe, I'm look up the time last week for Joe and Roddy, but the 6-mans were long. It was only 13 minutes for Joe and Roddy last week in the main event, but the 6-man that headlined the first Collision show, that was 25 minutes. And I feel like the main event for the second show was relatively long as well. That was 23 minutes. So yeah, they've had long matches to main event Collision. I'm skeptical this one's going to be over 20 minutes because Punk is a singles. Even Joe working as a singles in 2023. Let's just be honest about things. Age happens. Physical wear and tear happens. These are not the same guys they were 2 decades ago when they were 20 years younger putting on hour-long matches. We have not seen Punk. Punk's only wrestled a handful of times since returning, outside of the Kojima match, which was 13 minutes, by the way. He's not had a singles match. And even the singles matches he was having before his injury, like the Moxley match, the last match he had, that was less than 20 minutes. So he hadn't been wrestling very long matches anyway before the injury. Then you got the injury, and now you're coming against Joe, also not really wrestling these like super long matches or anything. I don't think this is going like over 20 minutes, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean, that all makes sense as well. I think I could see that. But I do think Punk wins. I mean, I feel like they're setting this up for Punk to beat Joe here. Yeah. It'd be kind of cool to see Joe win. It'd be unexpected. It'd be kind of like how Danielson lost to Moxley, in that world title match they had not too long ago. Like everyone was like sure that Danielson was going to win that thing, you know, when they wrestled each other, and then Mox wound up winning the title again. Everyone's kind of like, wait, really? Like, surprised they went right back to Mox. They could just put it on Danielson. But yeah, I expect Punk to win. Didn't Joe get to the finals last year? He lost Adam Cole in the finals last year, I think.
Against Adam Cole. I don't know. Yeah, I think he did lose in the finals to Adam Cole.
So it'd be interesting to see Joe get to the finals again, or even win the whole thing. Honestly, I'd be fine with Samoa Joe winning the whole tournament. I mean, he's still performing at like a super high level. Like his match with Roddy last week ruled. Like there's, but I mean, I think realistically speaking, though, like I think CM Punk's going to win this match, and I could see Punk winning the entire tournament too. Like I could. Not that he necessarily needs it, not that Adam Cole really necessarily needed it either. But here's the thing: AEW, they do so many tournaments and like there's so many eliminator stuff and like other ways of getting in the mix for big things where, like, you know, there's a lot of A-Shock said Mox beat Punk, but also Mox beat Danielson. Like whenever they had, like, there was a vacant title, right?
Yeah.
And yeah. And then everyone figured that Danielson was going to win that. So anyway, yeah, my prediction is Punk beats Joe. I think it's going to be really good, though. I'll definitely be watching. And there's a big UFC that night, too, on Saturday. But, like, the pay-per-view won't start until right as Collision's ending. But good Combat Sports Saturday coming up with Collision and UFC 290. So they got Yair versus Volkanovski on that show. It's going to be a good one.
If I can make it to 1 in the morning, I will watch that.
Yeah.
I'm old now, Jensen. I can't stay up that late anymore.
Understandable.
It's very sad times. And that's a good fight. I just, like, unless it's like John Jones, I even fell asleep during. I woke up literally as like Jones was walking to the ring. And fortunately, that fight only lasted 1 round. Yeah. So I was able to watch it. And then I immediately fell asleep right after.
It's wild, man. He's the GOAT. That's a whole other conversation, but John Jones is the GOAT. Like, people can say what they will, and I get it about like his outside of the octagon stuff and all the time he's missed and all the stuff surrounding John Jones, but like there has never been a better just actual, and I'm a big GSP guy. I've always been like GSP is the GOAT and stuff, but like I just can't deny what, like when John Jones did what you just said, comes back, moves up to heavyweight, wins in a round like it's nothing. It's just like he's the best. He's the GOAT. Like it just is what it is. Athletically speaking, he's just the GOAT of MMA. But anyways, so your prediction is also Punk over Joe though this Saturday?
Yeah. I think Punk wins. I think they're setting up a Punk and Ricky final. And then I could go either way on that. I could see how Punk wins and then he's kind of braggadocious about it. And I could see Ricky win. And then Punk is like kind of jealous and just lays him out afterwards. It feels like they're going to lean more towards a heel CM Punk since he's going to get booed in most of the buildings. And I think he wants to fire off some rounds at everybody on the mic, and it's easier to do that. Granted, he did it in his return promo, but it's easier to do that if you're an actual heel than if you're gonna babyface and then you're trying to play nice with people. So I think that they're gonna lean more towards a heel Punk and, you know, laying out Ricky, and it would be the way to do that because they need to start like establishing so an actual feud for Punk. Right now he's in the tournament, right? And they kind of got the Jay White stuff going, and maybe that's why they don't turn Punk, is because they actually need to close up the Jay White stuff, because Jay White and Juice are challenging FTR for the titles on Saturday. So maybe he still needs to do something with Jay White, and so maybe they don't turn him just yet. But whatever they do afterwards, they gotta like keep Punk in like actual programs on Collision, not just, hey, cool, CM Punk's here, let's do matches type of thing. And I think Punk's smart enough to like know this and know like, yeah, I need something I can sink my teeth into. No pun intended. But like I think that Punk knows that needs to happen as well.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And selfishly, I just want Ricky to have like a long established program with Punk and not just like a one-off type of match. Like I want to see them promo.
I think they will because I mean they've set it up that way with like him being like Ricky being a part of like CMFTR like recently with those guys, but that's a real good point that you brought up about Jay White, because they're I don't think AEW would plant all these seeds and not do Jay White versus CM Punk one-on-one at some point in the near future. So
I mean, this is where I hope CM Punk is smart enough to know, hey, we need to deliver on this, but I'm going to just circle back to Swerve and Keith Lee, which is, that's an overcooked thing that we need a singles match at some point, and I just don't know if we're ever going to get that.
We have to after last night. Anyway, no, I'm with you though. I understand what you're saying.
Your AEW spotlight, Jensen, is Chris Jericho maybe joining Don Callis's family, because Jericho, he starts factions. He doesn't just join factions. Where do you think this is leading?
I think he's going to join this group. I like this a lot too. The history between, they did a good job explaining it last night, but like the history between Don Callis and Chris Jericho is deep. It goes back a long time. I think they maybe even trained together back in the, and maybe if they didn't train together, they were like wrestling in the same territories, like super young, out of the same area. They didn't mention this yesterday, and I only know this because I used to listen to all those early Talk is Jericho episodes. And I remember Jericho and Callis talking about how even like, if I don't want to get the story wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct here. If someone in the chat here, you can correct me if I'm remembering this wrong, but if I remember correctly, there was at one point Impact Wrestling was they were trying to sell, and they approached Chris Jericho about potentially, I don't know about buying the company, but like they wanted him involved in Impact in some sort of ownership, decision-making level of some kind. And Jericho referred Don Callis to the decision makers at Impact instead. And Callis wound up getting that job because he was with Impact for a while after that, for years. And I believe the story was that Jericho was a big reason why Callis got essentially the interview to get the position he got in Impact Wrestling for all those years. I mean, so like we're talking like really, really big, not just like, they're not just friends for a long time. They've helped each other professionally for a long time. So it's like, and it's wild seeing this too. Like Cyrus the Virus from ECW was like so annoying. He was like my least favorite part of like the dying days of ECW. As a kid, I hated Cyrus the Virus. And I would have never imagined in 2023, he'd be like the most over heel manager. It's like him and Paul Heyman, and like Paul Heyman, they're both ECW. It's so random how these things have turned out. But like, I do think that ultimately Jericho is going to leave the Jericho Appreciation Society. A lot of seeds have been planted for that, and they teased more of that last night with like Garcia and Sammy needing to go on their own and stuff. So I think ultimately, and I like this, by the way, because initially I just figured Takeshita was going to join the Blackpool Combat Club, and Callis was going to be like Takeshita's kind of manager, where I like Callis wasn't going to manage the Combat Club, but he was going to be like associated with them. I like this idea better though. Like get through Blood and Guts, and then like have your own heel faction of Callis being the manager, Jericho, Takeshita, and then if you want to add in a couple other people, or whatever, you can do that. I like that idea a lot personally. So I think that's where they'll probably go with it.
Do you think that Jericho is part of Blood and Guts? Because we know it's 5-on-5 now. I thought it might just be 4-on-4 because Danielson was hurt. Kingston's in the G1, but they said it's going to be 5-on-5. Each side is basically going to have a mystery partner. And now, like, if you're looking at Blackpool Combat Club, okay, who is there for them? I floated Homicide because of his ties with Moxley. I also think there's a good story to tell of Moxley brings in Homicide, who's also friends with Eddie Kingston. He was celebrating with Eddie Kingston, winning the strong Openweight title the other day, yesterday, actually. So I think there's a story there of, oh, Moxley has Homicide on his side, but how does Eddie feel about this? I think there's a deeper story there. But Jericho now, as Callis tries to recruit him, does Jericho get involved in Blood and Guts?
That's a good question. Probably. I can't think of like a better option, because on the elite side, I know I've read something earlier that Kenny cut cut a promo or something after the Rampage tapings. He didn't say who it's going to be, but like it's so heavily implied it's Ibushi. So like yeah, you're probably right. Do you think of anyone, like, does anyone else make better sense than Jericho to be a part of that?
Yeah, I just said a Homicide.
Oh no, sorry. Outside of Homicide and Jericho, I apologize. Outside of those two, Homicide, I feel like is a long shot. Like I feel like that it makes sense based on what you said, and we've seen Homicide in AEW before. But when was the last time we saw him though? When was the last time he did an AEW?
It was the Grand Slam thing where I don't think he wrestled in AEW, but he came out and he helped Moxley and Eddie.
That's what it was
at the Grand Slam match.
That's what it was. He helped the two of them at the Grand Slam match. That's what it was. Yeah, I mean, I think Jericho makes the most sense because of like where the story's heading and him being a regular part of AEW and him needing a big piece of that puzzle. But listen, dude, I like the idea of Homicide too. But outside of that, I can't. I don't know if there's anyone else who I can think of that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Jeremy Freeze. Oh no, there we go. You're back.
Okay. Sorry. All right. So you said you like the idea of Homicide.
Yeah, I'm saying I like the idea of Homicide. I think Jericho is more likely, and I can't think of anyone who would really make more sense.
So Kenny's post-match promo was, listen to this. There was a week where my whereabouts were unknown. I didn't stay home. I didn't go to Canada. I went to recruit an old friend, somebody who's very near and dear to my heart. I've got no doubt in my mind that as much as he cares about me, he cares about the men in this ring. He cares about this promotion. He cares about changing the face of professional wrestling. At Blood and Guts in 2 weeks, there's no way we lose. To me, I think that's only one man, and it's Cody Rhodes, because I don't think anybody else cares about the elite and the promotion, All Elite Wrestling, and changing the face of professional wrestling than Cody Rhodes.
Wouldn't that be wild? That'd be the coolest thing in history outside of Cody winning the WWE Championship. There's some other people that have been thrown out there in the chat. I think it's Winston, spelled with some numbers in there. It says Jun Kasai and El Desperado long shots. I don't see either of those. I saw that Moxley wrestled Kasai though the other day.
Skewered.
Yeah, he took the skewers. And then I saw all the people online that were like, John Moxley fell off. And it's like, you realize he came from this. Like, and he's deciding to do. He doesn't have to do this. Like, anyways, some A Shook throughout Chris Hero. I don't see that happening because he hasn't been introduced on AEW television at all. And obviously the fans would know who I should say, the hardcore fans would know him. The casuals, he's been really out of the, unless you were following NXT UK, which a lot of people weren't. I mean, and Ace, no, Kenny didn't mention Cody. He mentioned that he's making heavy allusions to being in Japan, and it's pretty clear it's going to be Kota Ibushi. And if it isn't, I think people would be disappointed at this point.
Yeah, I think people are going to be disappointed if it's not Kota, because they're really teasing that it's Kota, and if it's not him, I really don't know who else it could be. If it's not him, I don't think it's Michael Nakazawa or anything. No. I don't know if Kenny has any other good friends from the Japan days who could do it, but
Fat Ass Masa.
Yeah, it seems like it's Coda. I don't know who else it could possibly be. Money Mark says Osprey. I assume on the BCC side. I could see that on the BCC side, it being Osprey is again a Callis connection. I hope it's more Homicide than Jericho. No offense to Jericho. I don't need him in another blood and guts match. I don't. And I don't even think he fits well with the elite Blackpool like story. It feels very shoehorned with the Callis thing. I understand the connection he has with Callis and stuff. I get that. I just don't need him inserted into this. Again, I think the better story is Homicide. And then because there's still a story with Eddie and John. They told that through a video package last night on Dynamite. There's still a story there. You throw Homicide in that mix, you elevate that story a little bit. Jericho is just he's going to elevate Jericho stuff. I don't need it. I just don't.
Well, I mean, and we all, I don't know if either of us mentioned this, but obviously the only reason this is even happening is because Danielson's hurt. Like, so they're already in a position where it's like they're already shoehorning someone in, like that wasn't planned to be a part of this. So they're just doing the best with what they've got. And I also understand the idea of Chris Hero from Ace Shook about like Kings of Wrestling kind of like reuniting in that with Claudio. I think if they're going to do that, it'll be like a tag team reuniting type of thing. But regardless, like, yeah, Blood and Guts will still be, well, it's going to be great, but I'm interested to see who's going to be on each side. But as everyone else in the chat's saying now as well, like, if they don't come through with the Ibushi, that's a gigantic miss. Like, it's almost false advertising at this point if it's anything but Ibushi for the Elite. So,
yeah, I think it's got to be Ibushi. I just don't know who else it's going to be there.
Our product is what it is. We're going straight up the middle.
Speaking of old Edward Kingston, he won gold. Stephen Jensen, he finally won a major singles title. He's won titles in other company, but I guess what you would consider a major singles title. He defeated Kenta for the New Japan Strong Openweight Championship at New Japan Independence Day, New Japan Strong Independence Day on July 5th. Hit him with a couple of strong kicks to the face, the spinning back fist, and the Northern Lights bomb to win the title. Very emotional after the match. He was celebrating with Homicide, hugging Homicide. And yeah, Eddie Kingston, strong Openweight champion, finally getting that belt.
Yeah, happy for Eddie. A dude who the story has been told many times, but I mean, the guy was literally selling his gear before AEW made the call because he was trying to make ends meet. I mean, this dude and the thing with Eddie is like, we all got to keep in mind, this dude was like a 20-year veteran pre-AEW. This guy's been around for so long. And to see him get this recognition finally is like, it's really cool to see like a guy grind out for that long. There's actually someone, I don't know the guy personally, but I like a friend of a friend I know actually purchased some of Kingston's either his boots or like his gear. It was some of his gear like when he was really hurting. And I think he reconnected with Eddie like fairly recently and like gave him some of his stuff back because he's like, dude, I only bought this like to help you get through that, but like, you know, you can have this back now, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and apparently Eddie was like really taken back by it. He was like really appreciated it. And there's cool that there's those kind of fans out there that like they're just trying to help these wrestlers out when they need the help. It isn't about like scalping ticket prices or like buying merchandise to flip it and make money. It's like, you know, sometimes people just they'll give this stuff back to their favorite wrestlers because like they feel like they should be the ones to have it. And they were only holding on to it for a minute because the wrestler needed some help, and that was the way that they were able to help him at the time was like, we're selling merch. I'll buy some merch if it helps you out. You know what I mean? So like, and also a lot of people aren't like, because you could also easily say like, why don't you just donate to them or whatever? That's kind of a weird thing too sometimes, right? Like just like ask people for money or like, you know what I mean? Like, so there's a lot of ways. I've done that before by the way as well. Just like wrestlers that I know they have merchandise and like I'll buy their t-shirts. I might not even be their biggest fan, but I'm like, I know they're grinding. I know they're working hard. I see them at a bunch of shows. Here's $25 for a t-shirt. Like, hopefully this helps out. You know what I mean? Like, so, anyways, it's good to see Eddie in this position finally where like he's winning big championships in New Japan. He beat Kenta for the title. Don't know what the hell's going on with that dude right now. Like not taking the Punk match supposedly and like whatever. I don't know what's going on with him, but, and like brutal titties in the chat, which is such a, I see that every day. And every time we're in this chat, I see that name and it pops me, but He says Eddie isn't taking charity, no way. And there's a lot of people that are like that, which is fair. I don't see Eddie being the kind of guy either that's like just asking people for money. So he's like, if you're gonna give me money, I'm gonna give you something cool in exchange. So like, and I respect that, obviously. But yeah, good for Eddie Kingston, man. I true dude. I remember because we've talked about Brett Eisen on the show quite a bit. When Eddie Kingston called out Cody Rhodes, he called out Nick Aldis at the same time, if I remember correctly, because he actually wrestled Brett Eisen it was a backyard wrestling show. It wasn't like GCW backyard wrestling. It was just like this. I can't remember. Maybe it was ICW NHB. I can't remember the company, but it was probably ICW NHB. But he wrestled Brett Eisen in the main event of a show. Brett gets out of the ring. Eddie grabs a microphone and just makes this call out of Cody Rhodes and Nick Aldis for the TNT title and the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. And Cody actually accepted the challenge. And from there, look at what's happened. I mean, it's incredible. And I'm not putting that on Cody, by the way. This isn't me patting Cody on the back for the success of Eddie Kingston. This is seeing the trajectory of a guy just call his shot. The guy listened and said, you know what? I am going to give you the chance. He came in, he absolutely killed it. And now look where Eddie Kingston's at. So good for him, man. You won't hear me. You won't catch me say anything bad about the Mad King. So
except punch you in the face.
I'm on Team Eddie Kingston, dude. He's another one of those guys where like just really, really random. Like I don't know him like well, but like I've gotten to talk to him a little bit through social media and stuff years back because he's a big MMA fan. So like he knew of me through MMA on Point when I was doing a lot of stuff for them for years. So I knew him through the world of MMA more than I knew him as a pro wrestler, but we knew each other as like we'd talk about fights. And then it was like, and he was he was an indie wrestler that I knew of that I'd seen in NWA here and there, and I'd seen in Impact here and there. But I would have never imagined I shouldn't say, it sounds unfair to say this because it's not, I'm not saying anything bad, but I think a lot of people are in this boat. If you would have told me in 2017 or 2018 that in 2023 Eddie Kingston would be in this spot in professional wrestling, most people probably wouldn't have believed it, including Eddie probably, considering he was selling his merchandise and stuff just to like stay afloat at the time. So like this is a real testament to like sticking with it and like owning your craft and staying in the good graces of people and getting booked and performing and exceeding expectations, like coming in and doing stuff. When he came into AEW, they probably thought this will be a one cool match. Maybe we'll get a couple things out of Eddie Kingston. He's one of the most over guys consistently in AEW. There's a big part of the fan base that wants to see him become the AEW World Champion. I'm one of those people. Yeah, I think even if it's a short-term thing, even if it's a Mick Foley type thing, like Eddie Kingston should be the AEW World Champion at least one time. Like, yeah, I got nothing but love for Eddie Kingston. Congratulations.
It was great to see him win this title. It was great to see like the real raw emotion that he had after winning the title, defeating Kenta. Getting wrestled in Japan for him on this type of stage as well. Corkin, I'm sure, was a huge deal for him. He's going to be wrestling in the G1, which starts next weekend, I believe. So, I'm very happy for Eddie Kingston that he's getting these moments and these opportunities because you're right. Like it didn't look promising before the pandemic, and then certainly during the pandemic. And I know you're not saying that Cody Rhodes got him this job and everything. Like Eddie Kingston's hard work and his continued hard work got him in this position. I will give credit to Cody because during the pandemic, when he was doing these open challenges, same thing as Ricky. Ricky credits Cody for this all the time. Cody took notice of people. Cody listened to who the fans wanted in these open challenges during this time where independent wrestling was not running. He brought them in and he was like, I'm going to give them a shot. It's up to them to prove something and make something. Some people like Eddie and Ricky did, and others didn't. And that's just, you can go back and look at history.
I mean, I'll go ahead and say it. Like, I'm not talking about anything anyone doesn't know. Warhorse, straight up. That's what you're talking about. Like, yeah. So they're like, and the thing with Warhorse is like, I'm a big Jay Parnell fan. I saw some of Jay Parnell's first matches he ever had when he was the littlest Viking, Jake Parnell, is a part of a group called the Viking War Party. And I used to watch these dudes in like the Southeast. I used to go I used to see him in like St. Louis for Glory Pro. And I'm a big Warhorse guy. The guy was like 2 years into an IWTV title run when he got this match with Cody. Like, he was one of the main guys on the indies at the time. But to your point, I'm not putting this on Warhorse. I'm just saying this is a testament to Kingston. Not everybody who came in was a success from that open challenge. And it wasn't as easy as Cody just bringing you in and putting a spotlight on you, and then you're a made man. Just like you said, Eddie Kingston had to earn this. Like, he came in and he earned it, and he continues to earn it. Warhorse, I feel bad for. I think he should have gotten more of an opportunity personally, but he didn't for whatever reason. And it's it's sad to see, because he's been in like this weird rut since then. It feels like on the indies, and that's a whole other conversation. He's been in this stuck mode. It feels like, in between, because he's accomplished everything he can on the indies, and AEW wasn't interested. And he's in this weird spot, and he has been for a while now, it feels like, but he's still killing it where he's at. And once again, I'm a big Jake Parnell guy, big Warhorse guy. So, anyway, that point needs to be made, though. It wasn't as simple as like Eddie got a shot against Cody and he was just a made man. Like, there were other people like Warhorse that had a shot against Cody, and we never saw them again on AEW TV. I mean, it is what it is.
Eddie Kingston has certainly made the most of the shot that he got, and it's great to see him as the champion. I look forward to what he does in this run. Again, he's going to be in the G1. I'm sure he's going to have great matches in the G1, and then he'll come back to AEW, ROH. He'll still be the strong open weight champion coming off of that. I'm sure they'll set up some matches in the G1, because he's going to take some L's in the G1. That'll set up some open weight title matches, and then we'll see where they go with Eddie from there. But it's great for Eddie. It's good to see guys like that win and succeed in their profession. So congratulations to Eddie Kingston. It was nice that was acknowledged on Dynamite last night as well. Big video package, big graphic and stuff. Like, it was nice that they put that over.
Yeah.
Again, there's that story with Moxley and Eddie there to tell when Eddie does return to AEW. And I hope they don't lose sight of that story while Eddie is in the G1. I hope they continue to make references and things to that. The other spotlight, unfortunately, in the world of wrestling, we lost Darren Drozdov on June 30th. Droz was, people may know him as Puke in wrestling. If you don't just know him as Droz,
he's gonna puke.
I think that's like the most famous thing from. There was a lot from Beyond the Mat. That was, if you've not seen Beyond the Mat, go back and watch that thing. There was some unprecedented access to a lot of companies, but certainly WWE at the time. And
that's mandatory viewing if you're a wrestling fan, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You have to watch that documentary.
Yeah, like there's they're backstage at the Rumble where Rock is giving the chair shots to Foley over and over the I Quit match. Like, they're backstage.
Noel and Dewey are in the crowd crying.
Yeah. Like it's you've got to watch Beyond the Mat. But a very famous scene was Droz having his meeting with Vince McMahon, and Vince being like, he's gonna puke. And and Droz ended up getting signed. He had unfortunately a short run in WWE, because he was wrestling D'Lo Brown, and a spot went wrong. There was a slip, and Droz ended up partially paralyzed from the incident, and unfortunately never wrestled again. But he was in WWE for a short time. He was part of the LOD 2000, and it's a thing that didn't really go too well. I thought he was doing some good work with Prince Albert. That storyline where he was Prince Albert's dealer and everything. Was what it was for that time. But I thought he was like really starting to find himself after the failed LOD thing, which really nobody wanted, and it just it didn't go very well. But yeah, thoughts on Droz?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, rest in peace to Darren Drozdov, aka Droz. Yeah, that sit out power bomb, Liger bomb, or whatever it was that D'Lo hit. Such an unfortunate thing, because D'Lo. I mean, that is like, you can't really even put blame on anybody for something like that. It was such a freak accident. Like, and I know D'Lo, he's obviously a safe worker. He's been wrestling forever, and I know he feels he's on a record so many times about how bad he feels about that. And I mean, it was just a terrible situation. But as far as like outside of the injury, like you said, my fondest memories of Droz are with Prince Albert. As a kid, a lot of that stuff like went over my head. Like I didn't know what a Prince Albert was when I was a little kid. It's funny now. And I also didn't get like the dealer references at first, but like when you go back and rewatch stuff, you realize when you were a kid, you were kind of oblivious to some of the references. But yeah, I see it. The thing is, I actually liked him as a part of the LOD because once again, I was a little kid, so it's like, oh, there's a new Road Warrior, like it's like it was like cool to me as a kid. So excuse me, I always liked Droz. I have his Bendham still, his little Bendham figure from back in the day. Yeah, I mean, it's just unfortunate, and he was a really good football player if I remember correctly as well. Like he was I don't know if he's like an NFL level guy, but I think he was like a football player pre-wrestling. He's definitely a very athletic guy. And yeah, just it's unfortunate, but he's a guy who's universally spoken of in a positive way. Wrestlers are always talking about how good of a guy, even like The Rock, when he passed, The Rock put out a really good message about him, like a nice like rest in peace message. And it's always cool to see The Rock do that for wrestlers because him and Droz wrestled on a lot of the same shows back in like the late 90s. And The Rock obviously has like the biggest voice of like anyone in the world, pretty much, like as far as like when he puts something out there, the most people are going to see it. So I think it's really cool when he puts messages out there for guys like Droz that like the mainstream probably doesn't really know anything about. And like, I thought it was really nice of him. So yeah, rest in peace to Droz, a guy who unfortunately his name's always going to be synonymous with that damn injury and in a big what if scenario, but that the Beyond the Mat clip will live forever. And then like you said, there was good stuff on the show that he was a part of pre-injury and a guy once again who everyone speaks of highly ever since. So like, rest in peace to Droz.
He had such a great look. Like
I know
Matt
like
Cardona,
a pro wrestler.
Yeah, Cardona talks about like being toyetic, and I remember as a kid when I got like his toy, like in my little figure fed, I pushed the hell out of Droz. Like this dude just looks like a dude who just captures your attention, and so I'd give him and like Chains were my guys in my toy fed, because Change with the DOA, like he had a really cool toy look. So like I would give them some big pushes. But yeah, Droz had a great look. Yeah, it looked like a pro wrestler for sure. So it is unfortunate. Somebody mentioned in the chat, Droz seemed like the nicest guy in interviews, never bitter. Yeah, like he understood what happened. It was an accident. He never put any blame on D'Lo. I think he actually put blame on himself, for he was like, I had like the wrong gear, or I didn't extend properly. Like he put the blame on himself. He never put blame on D'Lo. I know he still worked for WWE a little bit afterwards, like doing some like writing and stuff for them.
I think the company helped him for a while, the family, I believe. Yeah. And that doesn't get talked about enough. So that's, that's something that WWE does good things behind the scenes, whether, we acknowledge it often. We usually don't even know a lot of this stuff is happening. But from what I understand, the Droz family was helped out quite a bit by the WWE throughout the process, which is obviously great to know. So,
yeah. But it's unfortunate that his career was cut short, and unfortunate that his life, he's only 54, and like that's still young. That's still very young. But RIP to Droz, and let's rest in peace to Darren Drozdov.
I'm gonna give a big motherfucking shout out.
You're gonna be doing the SGC spotlight if you want to talk Pizza Cat Jr. once I'm off. Because I only have 4 minutes before I have to talk.
Yes, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so we have 2 indie spotlights. The second one is going to be Jeremy talking about his new favorite wrestler, Pizza Cat Jr. So I'll let Jeremy elaborate on that. I got 4 minutes before I got to clock in for my shoot job. Working overtime all week because take one day off of work for the holidays, and now you got to work extra the rest of the week with my job. Anyways, my indie spotlight this week is the Second Gear Crew, the SGC, the combination of Manders, Mance Warner, and Matthew Justice. They defeated the Rascals, the team of Myron Reed, Wentz, and Trey Miguel. They won the PWR tag team titles in Cage of Horrors to get that. The tag team champions, the tag team titles were on the line. It's a 2-person tag team titles technically, but like because they're 3-person stables, they did it like as like a tag team match or tag team title match, a 3-on-3. And basically what Cage of Horrors is, it's like a cage match with like a scaffold and stuff. So like it's like weapons, and it was a lot of fun. It was actually a lot of fun to watch. The finish of the match was Matthew Justice hitting one of his crazy. He does like he's gone viral quite a few times. He did probably the most viral one with Joshua Bishop years back, but he'll do Death Valley drivers off of scaffolds through tables. But like he goes with them, like he doesn't just like throw them off them. He drives with them.
It looks rough. That move always looks rough, but man, that was a tough one.
Yeah, so he hit a good one off a scaffold to win the titles for their team. So want to give a shout out to the Second Gear crew for winning the PWR tag team titles in the Cage of Horrors match. Also cool to see the Rascals all three of the four reunited. Obviously, what are they? Is Wes Lee's name in NXT? Yeah. So Wes Lee, obviously the only Rascal that is not reunited with them outside of WWE, but he's doing a great in NXT from what I'm seeing. So good for him. Super talented guy, Desmond Xavier. But yeah, and also shout out to SGC just because like they're showing up more and more in like MLW and kind of all over the place. So it's good to see those guys kind of becoming like a bigger name, just like in the overall like landscape of wrestling, and continuing to stack up title belts in more companies is a good thing. And once again, the Rascals seeing the three that are reunited out on the indies, that's only going to be good stuff too, because those guys are phenomenal wrestlers. So yeah, this was good stuff. Check out PWR, Pro Wrestling Revolver, if you guys got the time. It's a good show. I think it's on Fight. It was either on Fight Plus or YouTube. All these was a Fight Plus. There's so many of these damn things. I think maybe it was Warriors of Wrestling that was on YouTube.
Warrior Wrestling was on YouTube.
Warrior Wrestling, I mean, yeah. So, anyways, shout out to the SGC Second Gear crew.
Mike Bailey and Roderick Strong was also on this show.
Was.
If anybody goes back and rewatches the whole show. But yeah, the Cage of Horrors match was exactly like Jensen described. It's kind of like giant cage match, but there's a big scaffold. There's a lot of weapons. There's barbed wire and things like that. It was fantastic. The DVD off the scaffold through the table looked rough, but there was also like they did the powerplex onto like a barbed wire chair as well. The Second Gear crew did like a lot of cool spots in this match. So go back, watch that. You can watch Roderick Strong and then Mike Bailey as well. That was a fantastic match. There was also a dog collar match on this show. So Pro Wrestling Revolver does some good stuff. That's a Callahan's promotion here in the kind of Ohio area. But they do some good stuff. Moxley makes appearances on these shows. If you've not checked out Pro Wrestling Revolver, you should probably get on that. Jensen, go ahead and hit the plugs and everything so I don't keep you late for your shoot job.
Yes, thank you for watching, everybody, and joining us early today at 8:30 Eastern. At some point, we will probably move the show to 8:30 Eastern, like permanently. But for now, it's 9:30 and 8:30, depending on my work schedule. We'll keep y'all updated on all that as we go. But we appreciate everyone who joins us at 8:30 or 9:30 whenever we're live. Good seeing everyone in the chat today. Y'all can follow me on Twitter at FightTalk_. Use code FightTalk on IWTV. And check out the Fightful Select Weekender podcast. It's every Sunday, FightfulSelect.com, covering the world of indie wrestling and a whole bunch of other stuff. So thanks to everyone. Good seeing you, Jeremy. And no interview this week for y'all because of the 4th of July, but we have a couple interviews already lined up for pretty much the rest of the month. So we got good stuff coming your way. We're looking forward to. So see y'all later. And Jeremy's going to hang out with y'all for a little bit, talk some Pizza Cat Jr. Don't know if you got, and then maybe y'all get to see some Oreos getting eaten and stuff. So there's still more show for y'all. I just have to go answer phones for the next 9 hours. So see y'all.
Thank you as always, Stephen Jensen. Enjoy the rest of your day with the shoot job. I'm sure that's a whole lot of fun. So Pizza Cat Jr. wrestled at the GCW Backyard Show on July 4th. I don't know who Pizza Cat Jr. is. It's a mystery to everyone. I don't think anyone knows the identity of Pizza Cat Jr. What I will say is I think she has the potential to be the greatest wrestler of all time. If you've not seen the match with Pizza Cat Jr., I encourage everybody to go watch this match. Go watch the entire GCW Backyard show because it's kind of it's a fun setting. Like it is like in a backyard, like they're doing stuff into like pools and everything. Pizza Cat Jr. took a one-winged angel into the pool. Pizza Cat Jr. wrestled Charlie Cactus. So in honestly, maybe one of the greatest matches of the year. There was a giant forklift that was there. Cole Radrick is jumping off of forklifts and stuff. Just an insane show, literally in a backyard for Backyard Wrestling 5. They do this every year. GCW does, and it's a very fun event. It's something different, and it's a fun event. But certainly to me, the standout was the great Pizza Cat Jr. against Charlie Cactus, and Pizza Cat Jr. picking up the victory. Again, I think this person has the potential to be the greatest wrestler of all time. I feel like we'll be seeing a lot more of this person on television. And if not, they retire undefeated. Regardless, the legend begins and will forever live on this show. I will make sure the legend of Pizza Cat Jr. will forever live on the spotlight. Okay. As Jensen mentioned, we don't have an interview this week, but if you missed it, on Monday, I competed in an Oreo eating contest against Matt Brannigan, who's been on In the Weeds with us over on Fightful Overbooked, with Megabyte Ronnie as the MC for the event. Megabyte Ronnie is a friend of the show. He first appeared on this show, on the spotlight, because Jensen, as we talked off the top, Jensen's a big fan of the eating competition. I enjoy them as well. Jensen's like really hardcore into it. So he wanted to get Ronnie on, and Ronnie's done, he was an independent wrestler, and he appeared on AEW, he appeared on Being the Elite. So it was a really fun interview with Ronnie. And Ronnie and I just kind of became friendly and stuff after that. And then once Ronnie had to sort of retire, they thought he was full on retired. Fortunately, he made it back for the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest this year, was able to qualify, which was awesome. But once he kind of had to retire, I was like, I want to do an eating contest against you. Can we do this? And with his contract with Major League Eating, he couldn't do the actual contest, but he's like, I'd love to MC something like that. I was like, all right, cool. Let's figure something out. We reached out to Brannigan, who was Ronnie's partner, Hog and Dog, on the independent scene, and Brannigan was down for it. So we set it all up. It took place on Monday. It took place on Fightful Overbooked on Monday. And I'm going to air it here on the spotlight. Everybody can go to Fightful Overbooked. If you're watching this on a replay and you just want to jump right to the Oreo eating contest, it'll live on forever on Fightful Overbooked. It was not technically part of In the Weeds, but it was In the Weeds adjacent. In the Weeds is a show I do with Joel Pearl Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. So everybody can watch that if you would like. If you like Joel Pearl, which I don't know why you would, but you can do that. But here we go, everybody. The Great American Oreo Eating Contest from this past Monday. Myself taking on Matt Brannigan with Megabyte Ronnie as the MC. A tradition unlike any other. Two men with nothing better to do at 5 p.m. Eastern on July 3rd enter. Only one will be crowned Milk's favorite Oreo eater. Jeremy Lambert, the cream of the cookie crop, who lives in the pot. Matching cookie crumble. Fightful Overbooked presents the Great American Oreo Eating Contest, hosted by Megabyte Ronnie. Hello! Hi, everybody! I have to turn off this Michael Bay explosion that's happening.
About to trigger me, brother.
Sorry.
I about dove under my couch.
That's crazy.
That intro took a lot of work, everyone. Yeah. A ton of work. I definitely didn't just throw that together in 5 minutes before this show. How you guys doing? Megabyte Ronnie, you've been busy. You're a busy man. You are an actual competition eater here, a professional who's competing in a real competition tomorrow on ESPN, the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest. And here you are hanging out with Matt and I doing this. How you doing, buddy?
I haven't ate in like 40 hours. I'm freaking starving. I'm about to watch you guys eat like as many Oreos as you can in 3 minutes. So I'm doing shitty. How about you?
Matt, you said you've been eating all day, which doesn't seem good for heading into this contest. Seems good for me. I appreciate that. But doesn't seem good for you heading into this contest.
I don't know. I'm drinking water and sipping coffee. I'm trying to like promote some hunger because like 20 minutes ago I was like, I feel like shit. Like I can barely move. I'm sweating just from eating a lot. I just ate a big meatball sub. I ate a whole cookie cake this morning. Let's do it.
Professional.
I think I'm gonna do good. I always got room for dessert. You know what I mean?
Coffee and Oreos sounds awful, and I love both of these things, but that sounds like an awful combination.
I don't know, man. I mean, I got the milk too.
You have milk? Okay.
Because I told you guys I don't drink milk, and you guys both shit on me. So
I have milk. I don't want to break. There you go. Everyone can see the white milk there.
Let me get a good milk glass here.
Yeah, brother. You need a glass. What are you doing? You got to dip. You got to dunk. What's going on?
I'm gonna dip and dunk in here. I don't know. Matt's got this is what they serve in middle school here. You go out, you pay your $5 for the milk thing. No, this is my nightly snack right here. The blue cup.
I don't drink milk, so I'm not gonna buy like a gallon of milk. I'm just gonna buy
Get
a little
bigger
thing.
glass. What is that?
Well, there's more. Listen, this is just for dunking.
Matt's gonna have to take time to refill here. I'm sitting pretty. I'm sitting pretty. Let's go.
I refuse to be shamed. I'm not gonna sell this. I wanted a nice clear glass for the visual, even though it's probably not gonna be on camera anyway. But I also needed a wide glass for optimal dunking. And that's just what we got. Because all my taller glasses are opaque. There's no translucency there. So this is what we got. So just stay. Quit roasting me, everybody.
You got the robe with the shirt open. I feel very inferior just on presentation alone. That's right. I'm little.
The competition's already begun. I'm doing my game.
Yeah.
I have actually never seen Matt with a shirt on. It's never happened.
That's fair. That's fair.
Ronnie's like come to my house, and I don't think I've ever worn a shirt, even when he's
no.
Oh man. All right, everybody. So Megabyte Ronnie is the MC for this thing, and we're doing 3 minutes. Matt apparently not feeling much confidence here. I've got the party size Oreos because I'm feeling super confident that I'm taking this whole thing down in 3 minutes. And that only was sprung for the family size. So like you've already lost this competition.
I'm a family man. What can I say?
For the kids, for
this is a family show, damn it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna open up my pack here. Ronnie, whenever you're anything to add first, Ronnie, I should probably throw this thing over to you.
So I figure we're gonna go at minute 6. So I'm just gonna take this away for the next 55 seconds. I'm gonna go ahead and run this down through eating contest today. We are eating Oreos, a 3-minute contest. The person who eats the most Oreos in 3 minutes is the winner. Introducing first on your top left, we have Jeremy Lambert, who has been eating gum all week, chewing gum, not the good gum. We're talking about the Bubblicious gum all week to get his jaws ready. At your top right, we have Matt Brannigan, who has been double stuffing all week to prepare for this contest. Double stuffing, triple stuffing, quadruple stuffing. He's been stuffing all week. So without further ado, guys, go ahead and get ready because I thought that took longer. We still have 15 seconds.
I'm just going to say that I thought this was going to be more lighthearted than it is, and Jeremy's going really hard.
Move the computer? Okay, we're 5 seconds. Okay.
3, 2, 1, eat.
All right.
The 1-1. Jeremy, I can't see you eating. You gotta get
that's so difficult already. No, can't. Yeah. Oh, man, this is a bad idea.
So we have a dunking rule. You can only dunk for a maximum of 5 seconds. Do not over dunk for more than 5 seconds. For that is a DQ. If you have a reversal of fortune, or as commoners like to call it, throwing up, then it's also a DQ.
Wow.
So far, I'm seeing absolute deep technique here. It looks like Matt Brannigan is really saving time by dipping a lot faster than I see Jeremy dipping over there. Is that going to come back to haunt him? I don't know. technically, by dipping less, he's going to have less milk in his stomach, allowing more capacity for more Oreos. A true professional on our top right. Jeremy seems to be going with this of making the cookie softer, which is going to save his jaw when we get to the last 30 seconds. Without a doubt, Matt Brannigan's jaw is going to be tired. Both men look like they're absolutely in the zone. You see Matt Brannigan at your top right shaking it out, shaking off those Oreos. Don't want to get intimidated by the Oreos. Gave them the double nip tap. The Oreos are shaking in fear. Jeremy Lambert, stone cold, eating up there in the top left, looking to move on to his next Oreo. He's got to get that Oreo down his throat. It's been in his mouth forever now. Can he? Oh, there he goes. He's going to the next Oreo. I don't know what the number is right now. I feel like Matt Brannigan is pulling ahead. I'm seeing Oreo after Oreo going in his mouth nonstop. Jeremy looks like he's falling behind a little bit, but he's also eating off camera, so it's hard to tell. We're going to do a good number count into this guy. We are 1 minute and 30 seconds. We are halfway. Nope, we are 1 minute and 50 seconds. We are almost down. Wait, 6, 7, 8. We have 1 minute and 3 seconds to go in this contest. We are going down to the wire here. We have 1 minute. Matt Brannigan, double fist pumping, triple fist pumping. He's got the spirit. Jeremy Lambert in the top left, eating like a stone cold killer. It's hard to tell. Is that motivation going to help Matt? Is that psycho attitude that Jeremy has in the top left? Is that going to get him there? Takes a sip of milk. Now, that's a rookie mistake. Let me tell you that. When you're sipping on that milk, you got to save room. You want to use as little liquids as possible. Guys, we have 30 seconds. If you're watching at home, this is it right here. They're hitting their wall at about 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Your stomach sends a signal to your brain telling you that, hey, I'm freaking full. What are you doing eating all this food so fast? Now, laughing, you hear Matt Brannigan laughing. That's not good technique. That's not going to help him get those Oreos down.
Hey, it's you, man.
Yeah. All right, guys, we have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Put down your Oreo. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. You better put that Oreo. Okay.
No
All right,
problem.
so we're going to use an honor system. These guys are going to count up their Oreos. If it's in their mouth, it counts right here. So they can go ahead and chew this. They can get it down. It's in their mouth.
I didn't know that. I would have stuffed that one in there.
Yeah, that's what we call chipmunking. That's a rookie mistake. You got a chipmunk at the end of the contest. You got to get as many in there as you possibly can. Obviously, I haven't did a good enough
I'm not
job.
a vet, brother. I don't know.
I was one away. I was one away from eating an entire row.
Whoa,
I don't know
Dude,
what
I
that
did that
means.
forever ago.
You got
I mean,
smaller
granted, I'm a
pack.
family man and you're a party man.
Yeah.
So y'all got to do the math there and figure out.
Okay, I gotta count. Oh, this is unfortunate.
So I'm
Can you
subtracting.
just count how many's in a
from-
row, and then I can just like subtract from that. I feel right.
You know, if tomorrow, if they let me count my hot dogs, I'm definitely going to eat 87. No doubt about it. They're going to come on down there and be like, Mega Boy Ronnie, how many did you eat? I'd be like 87. No doubt about it.
8, 12.
Guys, if you're in the chat, I actually can't. I'm going to go over to the chat now, see what the chat is.
Okay, I ate 22. I have 23 left from a pack of 45.
My
20.
God.
Not a bad number.
All right, I feel like you got me beat.
Tank Bearclaw said the strategy is to eat more. Jeez, where'd he come up with that, man? That. Thank you, Tank.
See, I didn't think about that.
Pepper seed.
I was worried because I couldn't see what Jeremy was doing. I'm like, he could be going absolutely insane for all I know, you know? So
What? Going insane.
the fear of the unknown was shaking me a little bit. We're all doing basic math
says-
here.
Pumped to see Megabyte Ronnie tomorrow, but spelled bite ETE, so that's negative points for Ryan Sullivan.
I hit 17.
Oh, that
I
means
hit
you're
17.
of the first inaugural 4th of July, 3rd of July Oreo eating contest showdown. None other than my tag team partner, the Hog and Dog, Matt Brannigan, king of OnlyFans. Hell
Oh,
yeah!
congratulations, Matt.
Hell yeah. Now, me and Ronnie are basically both the same level. We're both
Basically.
champions now.
Yeah.
I will address some super chats and some comments here. Our pal Kai says, "May this go to the Fight for Oreo funds. Good luck." Thank you, Kai. Kai is a big supporter of the show and everything we do. So much appreciation. Pepper Steak says, 2 at a time, step it up. I tried that right off the bat with 2 at a time, and I did not realize how difficult that was going to be. I was ill prepared for that. Completely ill prepared.
You know that?
Yeah,
was
my
the
mouth
last
was
one.
dry pretty quick. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
shit.
the last one I tried to stuff 2 at a time because I knew I was coming down the final 5 seconds. I was like, oh, let me just stuff these in my mouth. But I was ill prepared for the 2 at the time. That was a mistake on my part. Do competitive eaters eat cold? Warm that milk up. I couldn't do warm milk.
Actually, we do not. All our liquids are steaming hot. That's a good point right there.
There you go. No, I couldn't
What's
do
the
like
significance of that.
Not nice and mushy faster.
Oh, okay, that's crazy.
What was that?
I was asking why the liquids are hot.
So it's to keep it the same temperature as your body. So if you eat a cold liquid, it's actually going to shrink your stomach. Your stomach's like a balloon. So you want to use body temperature liquids to make sure your stomach doesn't shrink.
Okay, makes sense.
Hey, these are tips that we just, Matt and I are just like, what are we doing? We're just going to eat this stuff.
Bro,
This is
I text Matt like every day, like 50 times a day, and I did not give him any advice.
Yeah, no. I didn't ask because I came in pretty cocky. I was like, oh yeah.
Well, Ronnie, when you were on our show, and I mean, I've seen you in these contests before, and we're gonna all watch you tomorrow. But like, it's very like intense the way you guys do everything, and like I imagine you actually have to like train. Like I know you actually have to train for it. I've heard your interviews where you've talked about all of this stuff. Like when you were on the spotlight with us, you told us about how you like actually have to train for this stuff. And of course, Matt and I are just like, yeah, we're gonna buy the Oreos on Sunday, and we're gonna do this on Monday. So we are just 2 idiots who are doing this for fun, but this is a very serious thing that you need to actually like be safe if you actually want to do this and take serious.
That was my one advice that I gave these 2 is actually how serious, and to make sure they had somebody, there who could give them the Heimlich or anything like that if God forbid something went south. So
yeah, I have my lady off camera ready to save my life.
My wife is elsewhere, prepared in case something. I did have a training incident that.
Yeah, I was wondering if you're going to bring it up because it's
that's scary.
It's a touchy subject, but it wasn't good. But fortunately, everything turned out okay. I'm here. But yeah.
I actually punched a hot dog earlier for you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Guy says Fightful's very own being the elite. What is?
That's crazy.
I'm still in that. Thanks, Kyle.
Tank Bear Claw says Jeremy's the winner in our hearts. Thanks, Tank. I appreciate it.
Hell yeah.
Oh man. All right. Thank you guys for doing
problem.
this. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Ronnie.
I'm gonna
for doing
finish this whole package off here pretty soon. So.
Oh yeah, this is now my snack tonight. I don't know if I can eat any more Oreos tonight. The wife's like, I'm gonna take all those down after you get done with them. Like more power to you. Right now, Oreos are not sitting well with me.
I'm
Matt,
right now.
Plug anything. Congratulations. I'll be a good sport. Congratulations on your victory. We will do this again next year, and we'll see if we do Oreos or donuts, or we'll figure this out. But we might make this a tradition if we could somehow get away with this, and we all agree to it.
Next year. You know, a lot of wrestlers out there have talked shit to me saying they could eat more than me. So let's see if they can actually get out here and eat more than my tag partner.
There you go. I mean, I will be here. I am not a wrestler. I'm barely in a shape. I'm the shape of a line. But I'm here for the puff, you know. I'm here for so for people who we like to go behind the scenes here. People who watched our interview with Ronnie, you know, he said he was gonna have to retire and everything, and I was like, okay, so July 3rd, if you can't do the hot dog eating contest, do you want to do an eating contest with me on the show? And then fortunately you were able to do the hot dog eating contest, which we're so excited about, and we're thrilled, and we're going to all be cheering you on tomorrow. You're like, I think I can MC something. And then that's when I immediately kind of reached out to Matt. I was like, hey, what do you think of this idea? And Matt, you're like, sure, let's do it. Hell yeah, let's do it. I was like, all right, this is what we're going to do then. So look, I'm definitely not a professional eater. definitely not a professional wrestler. I'm here to have a good time and to just have some fun with some friends. And so no matter who wants to show up, I will join in on the competition and probably lose. But Brannigan, I'm backing him against anybody.
Yeah. I have him trained. He's ready.
That's right.
Matt,
I didn't train for this one. Next year, he'll whip me into shape.
There we go. What if we get some actual? You don't need to train to beat me. If we get like some actual like wrestlers and stuff on here, then Ronnie could give you all the tips.
Any wrestler you got except for Ronnie.
There we go. This is all right. We're gonna get this going. People are saying Twinkies. Do Twinkies next year.
Twinkies.
Oh, that seems like it won't end well.
Actually, but they stopped sponsoring. I never got around to it, but I really wanted to do it.
I do love home food shit, so I'd be down for that.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out. We got a year. To decide.
Let's knock it
Matt,
out.
let everybody know where they can find you at.
Twitter, Matt_Brannigan. OnlyFans, Matt_Brannigan, if you're into that sort of thing. There's a pro wrestling tees sale on Forget Every Other Wrestler, buy me and Ronnie's stuff. On our solo pages, on the Hog and Dog pages. DM me for Hog and Dog shirts. I can split with Ronnie. What else? That's about it. I don't care. I don't fucking know. That's it.
Ronnie, let everybody know where they can find you at.
You can find me at Megabyte Ronnie on everything. Make sure you hit up Matt and buy those Hog and Dog shirts because I made him buy a ton of them and then I retired after.
It's all right. It's all right.
If you want to watch the hot dog eating contest, turn into ESPN2 tomorrow at noon. The males contest will probably be on there about 12:30. If you turn in a little bit late, you'll still get to see it. Make sure to cheer me on. I don't know how many I'm going to eat. Fuck if I know. I'm just going to eat as much as I can. And buy Matt's OnlyFans. Is it 50% off right now, Matt?
I might do a sale tomorrow. I might do that for the Patriots.
They do a 50% sell and you get 100% penetration. That's not a
sometimes 200%. That's
Two.
great.
Wow.
I didn't even know you can penetrate.
I got one more thing to plug. Black Label Pro. I'm teaming with the Warlord. July 22nd.
Hell yeah.
Berwyn Eagles Club in Berwyn, Illinois. He's no Ronnie, but he'll do. We're gonna do stuff. It's gonna go crazy.
Yeah.
Everyone,
I'm gonna
please
pop
tune
the
in.
Warlord with his cookie body. He's gonna go crazy.
Tune in to the Nathan's Hot Dog Eating Contest tomorrow noon on ESPN2. We're super proud of Ronnie because when we interviewed you a couple weeks ago, you said you we're going to be able to do it. And then when I saw you qualify, it's not a month ago or so, you qualified. It was like, let's go. We're proud of you, man. Congratulations. And, you said you don't know how many you're going to eat, but we're just happy that you're there. And we can't wait to cheer you on, man.
Hell yeah.
All right. Everybody, thank you. Thank you for watching. Keep it tuned in to Fightful Overbooked for all this nonsense that we do on this channel. I'll see you next year, Brannigan. Twinkies, I'm taking you down. Bye, everybody. We'll see.
Bye.
We'll talk to y'all later on. Big thank you to Megabyte Ronnie and Matt Brannigan for indulging in that nonsense on Monday. Again, if you missed it then, even though you're watching now, you can. It's forever on Fightful Overbooked. It is forever on Fightful Overbooked. Everyone can go watch it. It was a lot of fun, and we might make this an annual tradition. I've worked myself into a shoot doing an eating competition every single year. So what can you do? Thank you, as always, to Stephen Jensen for being here. Thank you, as always, to the chat for leaving comments, for interacting, for leaving super chats, for leaving a thumbs up on this video, for supporting everything we do here at Fightful. We really appreciate it. Everyone, head over to Fightful.com right now. Get all the latest news in the world of professional wrestling. Head over to FightfulSelect.com and get breaking news from Sean Ross at $5 a month. Get you all the latest breaking news, all the inside scoops from the world of wrestling. And go to FightfulOverbooked.com. A lot of stuff this week on FightfulOverbooked.com. In the Weeds has been thriving this week when it comes to interviews. We had Court Bauer on Monday. We had Gene Snitsky, a.k.a. Snitsky, on Wednesday. We had Alex Hammerstone on Wednesday. We have Delmy Exo tomorrow on In the Weeds. Indeed is interviewing wrestlers as well. They had, I apologize, it's somebody from IWS. I very much, Erica from IWS was on the show yesterday with Mike and Reg from Indeed. What else? We had a new episode of Tag Talk as well this past Monday. There's a new episode of New Japan Bread Club that went up as well. We have Coexisting with Rob and Maggie on Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. So a lot of stuff on Fightful Overbooked. Go over there. We're doing a lot of great work over there. Pat myself on the back. Really all the contributors do a great job. Joel and Kate at 8. It is Sundays at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern. They do a great job with that show. So a lot of stuff on Fightful Overbooked. New content daily. Guaranteed new content daily. Or some content. Sometimes just an interview that aired on In the Weeds. But maybe you missed it. And maybe you need to just watch it solo. Because maybe you missed In the Weeds. Maybe you didn't watch In the Weeds, which I don't know what's wrong with you if you're not watching In the Weeds. But you just want to check out the interview. Those go up as their own singular interviews. So we appreciate everybody that joins that show. And we appreciate everybody that supports Fightful Overbooked. All the money that we make on that channel goes to our contributors. So you're supporting all the contributors. And we appreciate that we can continue to contribute to our contributors. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. We'll be back next week here on the Spotlight we will have somebody in the Creator Spotlight. As Jensen mentioned, we have a few guests that are confirmed that we have lined up that we just got to interview. They're scheduled, they're penciled in, and we just gotta get it done. We just gotta do the work, in the words of WrestleMania 39 main event loser Cody Rhodes. Bye, everybody.